another episode of the Provocative Podcast. Bobby, are people going to be able to see your feet?
Why do you ask?
Because you have your chanclas on with your socks.
I don't know.
Hopefully they can't.
I'll crop in a little closer.
All right, guys. So the hubby's joining me today for the podcast.
What's up?
Say hello. What's up?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, if you're watching, you guys can see that we are wearing our Mercedes shirts that we got for Formula One. We went to Vegas last week on Thursday and came back on Sunday night. And we're a little jet lagged, even though it was only a 2-hour difference. We're like, yesterday was our anniversary and we both forgot. We both forgot, guys. That's how much.
I forgot less.
You forgot less because you're the one that reminded me. You're like, it was like 2:00. And he's like, it's our anniversary today. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot.
It's our wedding anniversary.
Yeah. I don't know why, but we like always celebrate our dating anniversary way more. Like we go harder for it versus.
And that's when it started.
I guess. So it was 8 years yesterday together. 8 years married.
Barely.
Barely? What do you mean barely?
Barely been 8 years.
It feels longer or what?
I'm just saying it's barely been 8 years.
Yeah.
Got a lot more left.
We got a lot more left. But we got some massages. We spent the day together. And yeah, it was a good time. I was telling him, like, you guys know, society, social media, everyone wants to tell you how to be in your marriage, how to celebrate things. And if you don't do it a certain way, then your significant other doesn't love you enough or whatever. And I personally don't need Chris to like buy me a dozen roses in order for me to feel loved. Like I was telling him, I'm grateful that I feel loved by him every day. And he went to Target with me yesterday, which was fun. I like, as long as he goes to Target with me, guys, I have a blast. Like, I'm like, okay, he's with me and he's on his phone or he's on like looking at the little knickknacks, but just having him there with me, it means more to me than anything. So, we just, spent the day together. We had some food and then called it a day. We're in a...
We ordered P.F. Chang's by Uber Eats to celebrate.
But there's a reason for that, but I'm not going to say the reason yet.
Yeah.
So we're in a weird position right now, and I'll explain later, but but it was good. I had a good time with you.
I always have a good time with you.
Yeah, I always have a good time.
I always do things I don't want to do with you.
You don't want to go to Target?
Things I wouldn't do by myself.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. We got back from Vegas, so let's give everyone a little recap of Vegas. How was it?
Good.
No, oh my God, you can't do that. You can't do that.
So for those of you that don't know, F1 happened for the first time this year, or for the first time in a long time in Vegas. It hadn't happened since like the early days of F1. But the inaugural race was this past weekend. We were there in attendance at one of the grandstands. It was fucking cold as fuck. It was over a span of 3 days. And every single day we were there. Unfortunately, day one, we were only there for like 10 minutes. And then we had to go back to the hotel. But the other 2 days were really good. It was definitely an experience for me. That was the first time that I've seen F1 in person. Heard F1, seen the cars. I think it was a really good experience.
Yeah, I mean, Chris got me into it. Chris and Georgia got me into it by watching Drive to Survive on Netflix, I really like it. I feel like if you like cars or your significant other likes cars, that show has cars, but it has a little bit of drama too. So you really fall in love with the characters. So it's a great show to watch with your significant other. If your significant other has been like nagging at you, like, you don't watch shows with me, but you want me to watch these rom-coms with you, watch that show with him. And I got so involved because of the show, and we are Lewis Hamilton's fans, like number one. Who was your number two, we would say?
Number two, if I had to pick just a driver, I mean, honestly, as much as I hate Verstappen, he'd be my number two just because he's consistent and talented. I just like Lewis Hamilton better just because he's a better person. Yeah. But he's also a great driver, you know?
He's an amazing driver.
But after those two, I'd probably choose... I don't know. For some reason, I like Carlos Sainz.
I know you like Carlos Sainz. You like Carlos Sainz.
Just like the underdog spirit, something. I don't know.
Yeah. Mine's Lewis Hamilton, number first for Mercedes. Number two is Leclerc. I love Leclerc for Ferrari. There's something about Leclerc that I really, really like. I also do find him attractive, even though he's like young. And he's not my type, but he's an attractive guy. But I just like his gravitas that he has.
Gravitas.
I feel like
I would not think
I feel like he has gravitas. Yes, he does.
If he was in a room, he'd be like, "Oh, hi."
Okay. I don't know. It's like this. I think, okay, maybe it's not gravitas, but like this like innocence to him that
is like, not at all the same
he
thing.
Does. He has this like I don't do anything bad kind of vibe to him.
Yeah,
but
I'm
he's
saying
like,
that's not gravitas.
Okay, so it's not gravitas, but he has like this like, I don't know, this mystery for him, like that comes off of him. And I'm just like, I would like to get to know you kind of thing. Like Leclerc. And then my third driver would be, that one's a hard one, but I think it would be Lando Norris.
Lando?
Because I like Lando. I like his personality. I like that he has a little bit of an ego, but not too much. I like him. But obviously, not driver, Toto Wolff. If I would have gotten a chance to meet Toto Wolff, he is the team principal or the manager of the team. He also owns Mercedes. Owns the racing team, Mercedes, and he has gravitas.
Yeah, he has gravitas,
and he's just like so put together, like put together. Like he's just so like.
And he's Dracula.
He has that accent. Yeah. He's Dutch, right? No.
I think he's like Austrian.
Okay.
I mean, he speaks German.
Yeah, German. But
I don't know if he's German though. I don't remember.
But it's just like, I think he has to be because he has like that because it's Arnold.
Arnold is Austrian, I think.
Oh, Austrian. Okay, well he has like the Arnold like sound to him. But yeah, guys, I got really involved, and then Vegas was fun. It was crazy to see the amount of people there and like how they transformed the city. And then Chris and I were there, like he said, like the races were late at night, so we were like, one of them didn't, like the actual race didn't start till 10 p.m. The practice the day before started at midnight, so we were there till like 2:30. And then we're not like party people, so we didn't really party at all. We didn't go to any clubs or anything. And at first I was like, the people that are with us are going to think we're boring, or they're going to think we're like not fun. But I don't know if it's my age now like, I don't care what people think. Like, if you think I'm boring, well, you think I'm boring. Like, I don't really like, I want my sleep. I want to sleep. I don't want to stay up. First of all, I love clubbing, but I love clubbing if I have a section. Like, I'm like pampered now that I got like used to getting a section. 2, I'm with friends that I want to party with, like my girlfriends. Like, I feel like if I'm not with my like core girlfriends, it's like, you know me, I have like my guard up. Like, I'm just like, okay, what's the vibe? And like, I'm all about vibes. So if I'm not feeling the vibe of partying, and also like the group that we like, George and the person he took, I feel like they're like all-nighters, and I'm like, fuck, like I can't hang like them. They didn't get back to the room till 6 a.m. Like, we cannot hang. Like, I was like, I told Chris, I was like, they probably think we're boring, but like, I really don't care. I just like, let's go order Taco Bell and go back to the room. But I feel like you're like that too.
I mean, I've always been like that.
You were actually wanting to go out that one.
I mean, we were out and about. I was like, we need to do something.
Yeah.
But then we quickly did nothing.
Yeah, because I was like, it was cold too. It was cold, and the party where everyone was at was outside, and I was just like, this is not my scene. I was just like, this is not my scene. I'm not feeling good. I don't want to be here. So we left. But Vegas was fun. I will say that now, I used to love Vegas a lot. I don't know if I love Vegas now. I think it's because, one, I lost $100.
So Jazmin did her first. Well, not her first. Last time you went, you came back with $40 or something like that.
Yeah.
This time she was in the hole, guys.
Yeah. I don't gamble, but I love blackjack, and I can get easily addicted to blackjack. I'm like, hit me. And I was like, okay, so this is about me. Okay, I was like, I'm just going to put $100, but I didn't even want to spend the whole $100. I think I saved like $40 of it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to allow myself $100, but I still couldn't get rid of the 100. So I was playing the $5 minimum blackjack. These people are playing $15, $25 minimum blackjacks. They're losing like $100. And like, I lost $50 in a matter of 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I was up $50, and I just was like, the next day I'm gonna play those $50 that I won, and I'm gonna make it more. And I lost it all. I had 30 cents left. It was not fun. So I like Vegas. Vegas is a fun time, but you do have to go with the right people to party. And we're not gamblers, so it's like, we didn't really gamble, but we had a good time. I think it was a really cool experience for us to go. I do think that Formula One will be something we always enjoy now from now on, and something we can enjoy together, which I really like. I personally, though, as much as I love being there in the race, I really love watching it on TV because I feel like I can actually know exactly what's going on with every racer. Does that make sense? Versus like just
not
seeing
really,
that.
because in some like I know for this one they weren't showing the top 3 battle it out as much as we were seeing there in person.
Oh, really? Maybe it's just because the Netflix show is so like dramatic.
Yeah, because it's a
show.
It's a show.
Yeah. But yeah, we saw Leclerc, Verstappen, and Sergio. Freaking which is Checo, battle it out, guys. They battled it out at where we were too.
Always right there.
So it was so amazing to see. I was like shit in my pants.
That was
I was like
6 swaps.
yeah, it was crazy. Leclerc got second, which I'm so happy about. I know I wanted him to get first, but you know it is what it is. But it was really cool to be able to witness that. Like I'm getting the feelings again for just being there. I was like like crazy. I know I've talked your guys' ear off about the Formula One, but I really do highly recommend Drive to Survive because it's really good. But that's pretty much it. We have Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're gonna go over to Aurelie and Mia's, and Eddie's, of course. Eddie lives there. But Mia's in this stage where she's just like so loving to me.
Is that what you call it, loving?
What do you think?
Attached.
She is attached, but I love it. I love it so much. I love feeling needed.
Trauma. Nice.
No, it's not. It's not. No, she's just like so sweet, and every time she sees me, she just wants me to hold her and like play with her. And I only see her like once or twice a week, so like it's really nice though to like that she's in that stage where she's like, okay, like really wanting to be with me, and like she gets so excited when she sees me, like, and I'm like every day I'm like I just want to go see Mia because she gets so happy when she sees me. But we're gonna go spend Thanksgiving with them. I think Aurelie is going to cater Crackle Barrel, so that should be yummy. It should be really yummy. Chris is like, I was hoping for a Mexican Thanksgiving, but Mexican Thanksgivings are just random shit.
Yeah, but when's the last time we had a Mexican home cooked meal?
Mexican home cooked meal?
Yeah. I mean, whenever we go back into town.
Yeah, when we go to Georgia.
That's why I was hoping for.
Pero your mom just makes a lomo. Like, how is that Mexican?
No, my mom's never made lomo.
She doesn't make the tamales or the ham till Christmas. So what for Thanksgiving are you missing?
I mean, they make ribs. They make.
But that's not Mexican.
How's that not Mexican?
You're just missing your mom's cooking. You're not missing the Mexican.
Is my mom not Mexican?
Yeah, but she doesn't make like Mexican food.
What is rib? What are the ribs that she makes then?
Ribs are like barbecue ribs.
They're not barbecue.
What are they?
They're like adobo.
They're adobo ribs?
Yes. When have you tasted barbecue on them?
Your mom has barbecue ribs. She's made barbecue. Oh, what else does she make?
It doesn't matter. Move on.
It's not Mexican.
Okay.
But Mexican Christmas Mexican Thanksgiving is different. I think everyone for Mexican Thanksgiving just makes whatever they want to make. For Christmas, it's more of like the tamales and stuff like that. Your energy right now is literally like upsetting me right now.
I'm tired.
Why didn't you drink an energy drink?
I thought about it, but then I was like, eh.
I can't with him sometimes.
So tired right now.
I can't with him sometimes. I'm like in such a high. I'm like, okay, I prepared. I'm like, I'm ready to go on the podcast. Good energy. And he's just over here giving me his caca face that I call it.
It's not
Yeah.
caca face. It's stay awake face.
Stay awake.
I'm like, it's also my eyes are so dry. Okay.
You are a terrible co-host, Poppy. Okay. All right. Let's get into why I wanted to bring you on today. Okay. So it's kind of like a story time, but not a story time. I feel like you guys know that I'm a big believer in the universe, and especially this year, I talk about it religiously. Well, recently I've been getting a lot of like signs, or I've just been listening to a lot of things about like sales and what to say to people to get what you want out of them. I was actually talking to a friend of mine, Georgie. He's a car salesman, and we were just having a conversation, and I'm not going to repeat that conversation, but we were having a conversation about how to get people to do what you want by the verbiage that you use, by the way you talk to them and all this stuff. Then we were watching a movie, and it was exactly the same thing. I don't remember what happened in the movie.
What movie?
The Change Up. Oh, and just his tactical skill at the end.
Whenever they were making the sales pitch.
Making the sales pitch. And I was like, shit, he's right. Like, just the way that, I don't even know what you would call, not the wording, but like you can already predict what that person's emotion is when you, like, in the movie, like, he could already predict what the Asian person was feeling at that time. And then we had this little encounter on our way back from the airport. So I'm going to talk about the encounter first, and then I want you to give your feedback, okay?
I will try, yes.
Just what we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So we are at the parking spot bus, which is a bus that takes you from the airport to the parking lot, right? It's cheaper. We always get that versus staying at the airport. So we're on this bus, and okay, I'm painting you a picture. We got to the airport at like 11:30, right?
Yeah, we landed at 11:30.
11:30. So we're on this bus probably like at 11:45, 12. By the time we got our bags and you were talking to the guy you met. And so everyone on the bus, you can tell, is so tired. There's like a family, a mom and a dad and a little baby in a stroller. And then there's this other older couple. Me and Chris got there first, so we're just sitting there. And then this young couple comes up. And they're sitting there. And they're probably like our age, I would think, right? They look like our age. I say young couple, but like our age. Yeah. We're young, but not like 18. So it's midnight, like no one's really talking. You would not really think about anyone having a conversation at 12:30. Well, anyways, they're like, I think they say hello when they get on, and we're like, oh, hello. And we're just sitting there, and the guy compliments Chris's watch. And he goes, hey man, I like your watch. And Chris is like, oh, thanks. And he's like, where'd you get it? And Chris is like, it's a Hublot. If you know about watches, and most men know about watches if you're in any kind of business.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to compliment a watch, I think it's because you know a little bit about watches. Because you know
about watches, right? So he's like, I like your watch. Where'd you get it? And he's like, Hublot. And he's like, okay, but where did you, what store did you get it at? So Hublot is the store, right, guys? So we already knew that this guy didn't know about the watch. And Chris is like, oh, I got it at the Galleria, which is the mall. And he's like, oh, okay. He compliments something else about the face of the watch. So right after that, I'm gonna say his wife, because I think he was wearing a wedding band, but she wasn't. His wife compliments my lashes, and she's like, oh, I love your lashes. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And she just started talking about lashes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, yeah, they're nice. I like having them. And that was it, right? So for a second, and then we just kind of started talking, and I'm like, they're asking oh, where'd you guys come from? And we're like, oh, Vegas. And you guys? And they were like, oh, we're coming from Orlando. And I was like, oh, Chris goes, did you guys go to Disneyland? And he was like, no, we were out there for work. So we were like, oh, what did you do? What did you guys go and do for work? And he was like, oh, well, we just went to a conference. We do e-commerce. So at that point, I'm like, okay, when someone says I do e-commerce, it's so broad. I'm like, why don't you just tell me what your niche is? Yeah, why are you trying to hide? I'm like, people ask me what we do. I'm like, oh, we're in the fitness. I'm not in the fitness industry. I'm an influencer. We also have a clothing brand. I'm not yeah, we have an e-commerce store, because that is so broad. Why am I just gonna say that? It almost makes you feel like you're trying to hide something. So, anyways, I'm gonna cut it short because I know I'm kind of cutting it long. He's asking us questions, but he's asking us questions about the fitness industry, and I'm like, okay, maybe my take on it when they were conversating with us was, okay, maybe these people, because they have an e-commerce business, are just starting out and are needing our advice, right? Because I'm always thinking about how I can help others, or maybe someone needs my help, right? So I'm like, okay, this guy's gonna ask Chris oh, how do you guys know about this? Because we were kind of the question that he asked me was pretty oh, how do you like your job? I'm like, good. And I was telling him how great being a social media influencer is, but how the challenges that come with it. And so I'm thinking, okay, this guy's going to ask if we had a mentor, how did we learn the skills that we have? But instead he asked Chris about shoulders. Chris, he's like, yeah, hey man, I want to ask you something about your shoulder, I've been getting this pain. Is there something, anything that you can recommend that I can do? So it was really random too. So I was like it didn't even flow with the conversation. So Chris is just giving him some input, yeah, man, you want to do this or this. So then they're literally about to get off, and he starts talking about, he mentions business partners. And the way he said business partner, right? But when he mentioned business partner, it's not when someone else mentions business partner. It was like a really weird way that he mentioned business partner. And then at the end, what does he say? Oh, have you guys heard of what's it called?
Well, he asked if we take supplements.
Oh, we take supplements.
And I said we do. You were sponsored by Ghost.
But they didn't know what Ghost was.
Yeah. Okay. So we asked them what their product was prior to this, and they said it was an energy drink. And I was like, okay. And he gave us the name, and I said I've never heard of it. And then we said Ghost, and he had no idea what Ghost was.
Yeah.
And if you're in that field, if you're making an energy drink, I feel like you should know who your competitors are. And Ghost is pretty prominent now. Like,
right.
They're in Kroger's, they're in gas stations and everything. So the fact that he didn't know was already kind of like
another red
it was
flag.
off-putting.
Yeah. Okay, so you want me to finish it?
Oh yeah, you said
okay,
we were gonna keep going.
So I was just like, okay, this guy doesn't know about social media. This guy doesn't know about Ghost, but he has an energy drink. Like, I'm like, this literally makes no sense. And then he starts talking about the energy brand that he's coming out with, supplement brand, and how it helps you. And did you know that? This one has like all the amino acids that you could possibly take that no other supplement has. And Chris actually goes, no, Ghost has all the essential amino acids that you could possibly have in a drink. He's like, from what I know. And he's like, oh, well, from what I know, we're the only ones that have it. So for me, I thought he was talking about his energy drink brand, like him and his partner. So as soon as, thankfully, the conversation ends up getting cut, because he's the first one to get dropped off. And as soon as he's walking off, Chris looks over to me and he's like, what did you say?
I said conman.
And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he was trying to fucking sell us shit. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, so at this point, I'm just like, this is why I wanted to share this with you guys, because I love that Chris is so insightful, and I love that he picks up on things, because he picks up on things that I would have never picked up on. And I'll tell you, we'll talk to them about what you picked up on, and then I'll tell you how I felt about it. Okay?
So I say everything first?
Yes, because, okay, I think I should say everything first,
yeah.
Right? Okay. So when he said con man, I'm like, what are you talking about, right? So my reaction, as you guys know, was he complimented Chris, which I thought he was nice. She complimented me, which I was like, okay, this girl's being nice. They 100% made me feel like I was superior, right? Like I was like, I knew more, because that's why I thought that they were going to ask, how do we know all this stuff? And I think it comes from the fact that when I meet people, or people in our industry are trying to like grow their social media following, whatever, I'm always the one that knows more, right? Because I've been doing it for so many years or whatever. So it's not that I feel superior, it's that I know more. So 99% of the time, they have questions to ask me about financial things or whatever it is. They always have questions to ask me. So I always feel like I'm the one that's going to help them. So that's where I thought they were coming from. I thought they were just being friendly. I didn't think they had an agenda. I thought they were just like, oh, like, yeah, we're starting this company. We came from Orlando from a conference and we're trying to learn. Give me some advice. Completely not like that. So then tell me what you told me. As soon as
That's it? That's as far as you're taking
it? Do you remember anything else I told you?
Well, I mean, not that you told me, but I mean, from the whole interaction, that's as much as you were able to pick up, or as much as you
No, that's all I picked up. I did find it weird though. As soon as he said e-commerce, like I said, I found it weird. I found it off-putting because I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because essentially e-commerce means that you're doing business online. And I mean, we said that we did a similar thing, but
we went into detail. Like, especially like if you're meeting a stranger, like you're not trying to hide anything. Like, it'd be different.
And then they said they had just started. So I was like, okay, guys aren't gonna ask like what we do, how we do it, or So that was a.
So that was off-putting for me. But then the not knowing about Ghost and not knowing about social media, even though you have an energy drink brand, for like nowadays, I was like, okay, this is weird. Then you are not an owner of an energy drink brand, or like something's weird's going on. But I was going to talk to you about that after. But that's all I picked up. I just thought they were being friendly. And then I found it weird that they didn't know what they were talking about. Like they didn't know about social media or about Ghost. But that's it. So now you tell them what you fucking told me.
From
the get-go.
From the
Okay.
get-go?
Okay. As soon as from the interaction.
All right, so my take on people has always been like if you're gonna go out of your way to meet someone, it's usually because you're trying to get something from them. Most people in today's world are honestly not kind human beings, or they don't come at you with just like pure intentions of like actually just giving a compliment. Unless you like truly fuck with something, you're not gonna give someone a compliment unless you're trying to butter them up or make them drop their guard, which is exactly what I think was going on here. The guy gave me a compliment on my watch, on a watch he had absolutely no knowledge about. He was just trying to get my guard down. And then the girl immediately gave Jazmin a compliment on her lashes. And I could tell right away that Jazmin was like, oh, like she started smiling. She let go of her purse. She was relaxed.
Yeah.
And once the guy gave me that, I was just like, oh, whatever.
You're always on guard.
I'm just like, no, this is going somewhere. So I let it play out, whatever.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
So, okay, I was kind of, now that you're thinking back, I'm like, this guy's being nice to Chris and he's still being like, so I know my husband. I know Chris. I know when Chris is relaxed in a setting, and I know when he's gonna be friendly, but he's like still he's like a fucking pit bull guard. Like he's just like, and I could tell him like, this guy is being nice to Chris. Why is Chris being so short? Like, but that's what I love about you. You like take your time to like,
yeah, like analyze
the situation and the people.
And then it went downhill pretty quick on my end. Like I was like, yeah, no, something's about to happen.
Okay, and I will go back to what you said with. Oh no, I'll say the people thing later. Okay, keep going.
Oh well, yeah, I mean we could circle back to that. So like I know me personally, like it's supposed to be because I've been in sales, not like a ton of years of my life, but I am familiar with sales. So I know how human nature is. I know, social cues and what people do, their body language. So, I mean, I know that when I want to meet someone, like if they have a nice watch and I'm wanting to figure out what they would do for a living, I'm going to compliment the watch and be like, oh, hey man, that's a really nice watch. How can you afford that? What do you do for a living? Mm-hmm. And then they'll give me the information that I want. Yeah. Which is what I thought was going to happen here. Yeah. But it ended up going somewhere completely different. Yeah. But yeah.
But I do think like okay, keep going because I'll take my take on the meeting people.
Okay,
keep going.
So yeah, it's like a networking thing, right? Networking is all about meeting someone. What do they do for a living? Maybe you could use them in the future, maybe not, but at least you have that person in your network now. So yeah, they opened up like that, and then they started building rapport, just getting to know us, asking what we do, whatever. And then he asked me the question about fitness, which is, if this was a sales pitch, maybe it wasn't a sales pitch, but I'm just taking the whole situation as a whole. He was trying to build my confidence up and make me feel superior by asking me something that I was knowledgeable in. So I answered him. And in my head, I was like, oh, I'm the big baddie here. Like, I'm the one that knows the most. I'm in control of this situation. So anything that comes out of his mouth, I'm going to dictate the way it goes. Yeah. But that's also a sales move. Like, if you're in car sales, you're like, oh, I don't really know if I could find you the car, based off your needs, blah, blah, blah. But I'll see what I could do. And you make the customer feel like what they're asking for is way too much because they're asking for above and beyond. And then you're like, oh, here, I found it for you, man. It's the perfect card. Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, I told you could fucking find it. Yeah. So that was another thing there. And then as soon as he mentioned his business partner, just like you said it, the way that he said it, the way he worded it was completely weird. Like it reminded me of something that I had experienced in the past, which was MLM, multi-level marketing, or better known as a pyramid scheme. Because every person there has their own business in e-commerce, and you're responsible for your own product, but you're not the creator of that product, if that makes sense. So essentially Herbalife, Mary Kay to a certain extent. Mary Kay is multi-level marketing, but you do make decent money with Mary Kay as long as you were one of the first.
Monat.
Huh?
Monat.
Yeah, Monat is multi-level marketing. Mm-hmm. So there's a ton of multi-level marketing schemes out there. So I asked him about XS, which is the company that he was promoting. And he came out with this big old fucking sales pitch about how they were the number one and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, that's just what they tell you to say. you probably have a patent on the delivery system, but not the fucking amino acids. Everyone has fucking amino acids. And if you're knowledgeable about supplements, you know that amino acids aren't really that fucking big of a deal.
Yeah.
And he was trying to sell us on them like they were the most magnificent thing in the world.
Yeah.
But
I think it was a red flag. Everything was a red flag with you as soon as you heard that he was coming back from a conference.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't want to say what his e-commerce was. I think that's where your turning point was like, because he mentioned that before he mentioned everything else. So you were like, okay, he just came from a conference. He doesn't want to say what it is. So all these tactics that he's using on me, he just fucking learned in this conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then at the end, he was just talking about the company and he left. And then Chris turns around and he's like, fucking con artist. He's like, he's the pyramid scheme. And I was like, wait, what? And then he was telling me everything. And I'm like, how the fuck did you pick that up?
And then literally Jazmin got in the car and looked it up. And
it is.
XS is multi-level marketing. They've been around for forever. And this guy feels like he just discovered it. And he's going to try selling it to all his family and friends. And he'll probably get a couple of them to sign up. But
yeah, that's what it is.
It's not going to change your life, bro.
Yeah, but like as soon as I got in the car, I looked it up, and then it literally everything that like they were saying was on there. As far as like what Chris was saying was on there, and it talked about like going on a 3-day course to Orlando to learn about it, and that's what the course they had just come back from. But for me, it was like really crazy that he was able to pick up all the signs. I can pick up some of the signs, but I don't know the meaning behind it. Whereas you were already like, okay, this guy is buttering me up. I just feel like, okay, I'm like, they're just being extra friendly. Why? And again, it was at 12:30 and I'm like, why are these people like trying to have this grand conversation? And me, like, that's why I did some conversation. I was like, oh, do you guys live in the area? Because like, for me, it is hard for me to believe that everyone has an agenda. But in reality, I think after having this conversation with you, it made me realize that it's true. Like, most people have an agenda. There will be people who, if you see at the mall or whatever, compliment your shirt because they really fuck with that shirt. Yeah. Or like when I see a purse and I'm like, I know that purse is fucking one of a kind. I'm like, oh my God, I love your purse. Where'd you get your purse? Yeah. You know, like I don't want anything from her, but like I compliment it because I'm like, oh, I fuck with that bag or I fuck with this. But or like, I think with girls, we compliment a little bit more like, oh, your makeup looks really, really nice. But I think it was in the order of the way that things happened.
It was the order and also just the way the compliment was given. Because like you said, like if there's a pair of sneakers that I know fucking rare or expensive, I'm like, yo, those are some sick ass Jordans, bro. Yeah, and then that's it.
That's it.
Like I give a precise compliment. I'm not just going to be like, yo, those are some sick shoes.
Yeah. And
then just fucking... wander off somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, same. I think someone else on the line in the airport was like, bro, I like your shirt, and dabbed you. And then he walked away. You know what I mean? But when someone stays around, it's like, okay, it is off-putting because it's like, what are those people's intentions? And I just like, Chris, the first thing he goes, he's like, baby, I love the way you are, but sometimes you got to take a step back, analyze. And I'm like, I just don't, and I feel like I need to do a little bit of a better job, especially with the market that we're going into and especially with just business in general. You need to really take a step back and analyze people before like you go all in. And not that I go all in, I just like am overly friendly. Like I'm just friendly. I don't want to I don't even know if I'm overly friendly. I think because feel like, you know how my friends feel like they have to compensate with me sometimes when I'm not too friendly? So like, for instance, Heba and Brittany, I love you guys if you're listening. They always feel like they have to overcompensate for me if I go into a room and I don't know people because I'm not super duper friendly when I first meet people. I'm like standoffish. So, and now I feel like I have that end of the stick, which kind of sucks. And I hate that I do that to them now because when I'm with you, I feel like I have to overcompensate for your energy because I feel like you come off so strongly at like, that like literally that I have to like overcompensate the friendliness so that I don't so that other people aren't uncomfortable. But that goes back to my childhood trauma where it's like, I have to make sure everyone's okay versus why the fuck do I care if they're okay or not, right? But for me, it was really like, I don't know, for me, I was like, it was just so crazy to see how like my interaction was so different than Chris's, and mine was like, oh, these people want to learn something from us. Oh, I'm not superior, but they want, like, I'm going to help them out. I'm going to be like, yeah, you should do this. You should do that. I'm coming from like the kindness of my heart. Whereas these people, now I'm like, fuck you guys. You guys were trying to sell me shit when I was over here trying to be friendly. But I wanted to share this experience with you guys because I'm sure, like, I don't want to be that person that tells you, like, oh, be careful because people always have an agenda. But people do have an agenda. And I do think that...
But that's okay sometimes.
Yeah,
honestly.
and it's okay.
Like, if you become aware of what the agenda is, then you realize that some relationships are transactional.
Yes.
And just use it to its full extent. Don't give that person confidential information or bring him too much into your life, but realize that, if they're trying to win something, get something out of them too.
Yeah, get something out of them too. I know that's the biggest life lesson I learned, I think, the last few months. And I guess I'm telling you, the universe, I think with the way things happen with the cells, with the conversation we had with George the day before, the movie we watched literally 2 hours before having this conversation, it was all like leading me to this moment. And I feel like, even though I looked at the signs, I didn't really see it until now that I'm like reflecting on it, which I'm really grateful that like I was with you and I was able to pick it off. Because I think I would have picked it up, but a lot later because it takes me a little while longer. But yeah, I do think that this year that's taught me some, like, one of the things I've learned is that it's okay if people are needing something from you. Some relationships are just transactional, and that's okay, as long as you're aware that they're transactional. Because if you don't feel like they're transactional, but it's transactional on their part, then that's when you feel used. Yeah. But if someone's trying to use you for something, fucking use them for something back too. And as long as you're both aware that that's what the relationship is, and that's what the relationship is, there's no need for more emotional attraction there, and more emotional, what's the word I'm looking for? Just emotional bondage there, right? Involvement, right? It just could be something transactional. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was a really cool, like an actual live experience. And I'm not in sales, guys. I did sales for like 3 months at Gold's Gym, and I hated it. I hated selling memberships because I'm like, I don't want to rob people. I know I can give them a better deal, but I can't give you a better deal. And there'd be these families that like are already making ends meet, but they want to join the gym. And I'm like, I have to sell you this membership, even though it's like not this expensive. I just hate sales. I hate sales. So thankfully I got you. You can do all the sales work if we need to do any of the sales work. I'm just more of an emotional person, and it's okay. It's okay. I think I have an okay balance. I'm getting a lot better. I'm trying to get more of a 50-50 balance. But right now I feel like my balance is a 65-35.
65-35?
Yes, I think it's a 60. Where before it was like a 85-15. Yeah. 85 emotional, 15 logical. I feel like with the last 2 years it's been 65-35, but anything else you want to add?
Nope.
To that? All right, guys. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I wanted to share this experience with you guys because I thought I was like, this is going to be good. Maybe it's a life learning lesson for you. Listen to the signs that the universe is telling you guys, even if it's as stupid as a movie. Actually, sometimes.
Let's end it with the advice that I gave you.
Okay.
What was it? Take your time in analyzing new relationships that are coming into your life until you do figure out what people's agenda are. Maybe they don't have an agenda, but don't go all in with someone until you're fully aware of what that person's intention is.
Well, we've always talked about that. We have that 3-month rule where if you make it past the 3 months with us, then you're pretty much here to stay. But, if you don't, then there's a reason for it. And I mean, I had a little bit of a situation. I mean, recently, and it was. I feel like I handled that the best I've ever handled the situation though. Like it was actually like I was a little hurt, and I love Chris, and I just talked about it. I did a TikTok live because he's always so honest with me. Like as much as it's gonna hurt me, he's so honest with me, and he'll ask me the hard questions, and he'll ask me like, why does this bother you? And I'm like, well, I think it's because she doesn't want to be my friend. And it's like, well, babe, maybe she doesn't want to be your friend. Maybe she's just using you for this transactional relationship, but you can also use her. Like, so use her. And I'm like, you're right. And like, I can't let like I can't get butthurt about it, right? I have to just realize that some relationships are like that, but I've handled it a lot better than before. Before I would probably have cried, probably lingered on it for multiple times. You would have probably heard me talking about it with my best friends like every fucking day of the week. Now it I talked to you about it once, I talked to you about it with Aurelie once, and it's been done, except for right now that I'm bringing it up. But I think the more that you can understand that and the more you're aware of that, just self-awareness, guys, is a big thing, okay? Self-awareness. Everyone listening to this, self-awareness with any kind of...
Repeat it with us, guys.
Self-awareness will just get you so far in life, and it helps in any situation that you're in. But take the time to analyze people and be okay with it. So, all right, guys, that's it for this week. Hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving. Don't shop too much for Black Friday, which is in a day, which kind of sucks that we had this grand plan, but
yeah. So just to let you guys know, we were going to launch our product on Black Friday. Some things happened, and we are going to hold back just a couple more weeks, but it's almost there, guys.
Yeah,
it's almost there. Bear with us. It is well worth the wait.
It is well worth the wait.
And we have been just anxious as fuck over here, ready to share.
Ready to share. But it's good. Everything happens for a reason, like I said. And I think that everything has happened for... I'll probably do another episode of Everything Happens for a Reason later on. But recently too, we didn't get approved for the space that we wanted. And I'm so glad we didn't, because we didn't have the product here. So everything happens for a reason. So, so that's it. Hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving, and I'll catch you guys up next week. Peace.